All right, looks like I am live. Okay, so we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. It's 3 o'clock or 1 o'clock. It's 1 p.m. Welcome to PTM Skill Up Show. Who is here with me? Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're talking about how we can help our children to start achieving their goals. Children are a priority, should be a priority for every parent. Okay, your children are your priority. Your children should be your priority. I have conversations with parents every now and then, and every time I ask the question, what's the most important thing in your life? The answer I get is usually, it's never below um, the first, second, third, right? In fact, I've never met a parent that has said that the most important thing in their life is that will mention three things before they mention their children. Usually it's either one, two things before they mention their children. It's either God, their spouse, and then their children, or God, their children, and all of that. So hey, our children are a very important part of our lives. They are a very important factor in our lives, especially as parents. So yes, you cannot not prioritize your children. My name is Maribeth Chima. I'm the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. Welcome to the Skill Up Show. The Skill Up Show is that show that we have every Monday at 1 p.m. on Facebook and on YouTube. And why are we doing this? We want to skill up parents. We want to help parents. We want to share skills with parents that they can use or they can take and run with. So we say, let's skill you up for the week. Okay. We want to share tips that you can use as a parent, and then you can apply these tips in your parenting, right? For that whole week. Of course, parenting is much more than just tips. There's something that is here that I should take away. I'm not liking my books. All right, let me just take this away. Okay, so while I'm doing that, if you have a friend that needs to be here right now, why don't you go ahead and invite them? All right, if you are on YouTube and you have not subscribed to our channel, this is a great time to do that. Why don't you go ahead and click on the subscribe button, and then of course on the bell symbol that is there, so that you get a notification every time we come live. Now, if you are here right now, don't just be in the background. Say something in the comments so I know that I have got company. And of course, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and tag somebody. All right, tag someone on Facebook so that they can join the show. I hope we are on Facebook. I hope we are on Facebook. We should be on Facebook because, okay, I hope we're on Facebook. Just let me do a quick check. If we're on Facebook right now, we should be on Facebook. If you are with me, on Facebook, can you let me know if we are on Facebook or just on YouTube? We are meant to be on Facebook as well. All right, so let me just do a quick check to see if we're also on Facebook so that we make the adjustment right away. Okay, it's not looking as if, okay, yeah, we're right there on Facebook. All right, awesome. So let's move. Okay, let's move. Hi, Abraham, I see you. I see a like from you. Hi, Abraham was my classmate in the university. How are you doing? All right, so if you're here, let's just wait for a few minutes and so other people can join us on this stream, on the show. If you are here right now, don't just be in the background. Can you tell someone that needs to be here that we are live? All right, so that they can join up. So that they can join us, okay? If you're on YouTube, why don't you share the link with someone so that they can join us on the show? All right, so we expect that this is a good time, right? We expect that this is a good time to meet. Usually for those at work, this is break time, isn't it? All right, so hey, let's go. All right, so let's go. The Skill Up Show is a very short one, so we don't want to waste time. We just want to shoot as soon as we come here. If you've been following me by now, then we should not be having a conversation about whether children should set goals or not. It must have been established that children should set goals. Children can set goals, and children should be encouraged to set goals. All right, that should be done. That argument should be done and dusted by now if you have been following me. Okay, so children need to set goals. Children should be taught how to set goals. All right, children should know how to set goals, and children should be taught how to create plans to achieve their goals. So the conversation has moved from whether children should set goals. It has moved to how we can equip our children to start planning to create plans to achieve their goals. See, any parent that understands the assignment, okay, any parent that understands the assignment should know by now that their children should be setting goals and should be looking for strategies, right? What we're doing here right now, should be looking for tools and strategies to help the children achieve those goals. I borrowed myself some sense about 6 years ago. Yes, I borrowed myself some sense about 6 years ago, and my first son started setting goals. My first child started setting goals right from when he was about 7 years old. Now, funny enough, it didn't happen. It wasn't like I set out to get him to start setting goals, right? I didn't set out to get him to start setting goals, but we had decided to get him a mentor at the time. Okay, so I decided to get him a mentor at the time. And then when the mentor came in, they started working together. So at the point, they would read a book, okay? They were sharing the book, right? He would have to read the book during the course of the week. And then the next week, when they have to meet, they will sit down and they will review the book. Okay, so at the point our son had started, having conversation with his mentor. He has started reviewing books with his mentor. He had something he had a commitment, basically. He had a commitment, basically, right? So that was one. School, of course, is another commitment, isn't it? He has to get back from school. He has to do his homework. Okay, then at the time, we had reached the point in our life where we understood that our 7-year-old in year 2 at the time, yeah. So we understood that our 7-year-old in year 2 had to start making baby steps towards studying and being an independent learner. So we had introduced studying for about 30 minutes every day. So we were at that point where, okay, so he already had a few responsibilities coming in, right? Then while working with his mentor, he decided to start a YouTube channel. All right. Now, it's not like he knew anything about YouTube channels and stuff like that. He just knew that he enjoyed science so much that he wanted to share it. And then we had started talking about impact. So I am giving you, as I said, this show is all about tips. So please don't come to this show without your pen. Okay, I know some people are just jumping in here and jumping in out and jumping out. The Skill Up show is just about 30, 40 minutes. So if I were you, I would just lock it down, stay here and get the tips from this class because it is going to be valuable. All right. As a matter of fact, the Skill Up show is one thing that you should put somewhere in your schedule. Put it there so that you can, join us on your own. Join us on your own because there's a lot of lessons to take away from here. And these lessons can be picked even from my conversations or from the ones that I actually give you intentionally or deliberately, right? Yes. So at the point, the responsibilities had started mounting. Basically, we already introduced the mentorship to him. So he had a mentor at the time. Now he was already having conversations with these adults, right? That wasn't even in the same city with him. And this was even before COVID, when people started going online and all of that. No, we were on WhatsApp. We were already doing stuff on WhatsApp calls and WhatsApp video back then, right? When he was about 7, he's 13 right now. So he would sit down with his mentor and they would have these conversations and all of that. And they were sharing the book. They were reading a book that they were reviewing and the teaching, or at some point, the mentor was teaching him from that book. Okay, I think it was Fela Durotoye's 7 Secrets of High Flying Students. So he had to read every secret every week, right? He will read the secrets and all of that, and then he will come and review it and they will have conversations around that book at the time. So he already had that that responsibility. And as I said, he had the responsibility, of course, to do his homework after school. Then we were at the point already where we understood that he had to start learning certain skills. We had to start introducing certain skills. For instance, independent learning. We know that for you to raise, back then we already knew that for us to raise a lifelong learner, we had to introduce the learner into enjoying, learning. We had to make him enjoy learning on his own. We needed to make him independent as a learner. Of course, then there was one that was a constant, having him enjoy leisure reading. So these were already there were responsibilities that were already mounting for him. And with his mentor, because he had said at the time he enjoyed science, and we were already talking with him about impact. So if you are raising children today, you're telling them about the future, you're telling them about their purpose, you're telling them about all that life is if you put in the hard work right now, and you are not infusing the fact that they were created to impact the world, to give back. Right? If you're not infusing that, then your lesson is not complete. All right. So even back then at 7, we had started infusing the fact that impact is a big deal in his purpose. So he was already thinking in his head, how can I impact? What can I do? Because at that time I was saying to him, at every point, there is something that we can do to impact the next person. At every point, there is something that you can do that can bless another person. At every point, there's something that you can do that can make a difference in the life of another person. And so that's how the channel started and all that. So basically, all right, the responsibilities were mounting. And so at the point, we needed to create goals. We needed to create a way to achieve all of these responsibilities. And so that's how we got into goal setting. All right, that's how we got into goal setting. Okay, so what are the things that you have to do next week? What are the things that you have to do in, this term, from the beginning of the term to the end of the term? And so we sit down and we put this down together. He puts it down, and then of course we start thinking, so what are we going to do to achieve this and achieve that and all that? And so that is how we got into goal setting right from when he was about 7. So by 7 years old, he created his first vision board. All right, so yes. Now, what did I realize, or what did I discover, or what were the benefits, or what did I see that was the benefit of this exercise, or the fact that we started goal setting for him, or having him set goals? Okay, one of the things that I realized was that it made him responsible. Okay, he became responsible for himself and for his commitment. So because we sit down and we create those goals together, we sit down and then we write the things that he has to achieve, and then we break these things down into the big goal or the big picture, and then we now break it down into the small things that he has to do every day to achieve them. He gave him a sense of, I have something to do. All right, so it started shifting gradually from me. All right, it started shifting gradually from me being the one motivating, being the one, jumping and chasing him all around. Okay, because he was a part of it, because he was made to set those goals, because he created the vision board on his own, because that vision board was right in his room, and he was made to pray with the vision board, made to, see it as his thing. He was able to jump right into taking responsibility. Hey sis, okay, I don't know who this is, I can't see your name on StreamYard. All right, so basically he was able to take responsibility he was able to take these things as his responsibility, and started looking at them as his thing, and not necessarily something that we wanted him to do or something that we were pushing him to do. So it is very key, very, very key. So that happened. Okay, it also helped him to start feeling like he can do things. Okay, it helps him to start having that I can do feeling. All right, because he has to do the YouTube video at the time, and then we'll go and shoot the video on a particular day. So what happened to him was, before that day already he knows that he's going to have to shoot. So he knew that we shoot YouTube videos on Fridays. All right. So of course he didn't have to, I didn't have to chase him right around. Of course, at the beginning, I had to do a lot of reminders, but after a while, because this was his own goal and he was a part of it, okay, it became something that he would jump into on his own without us having to chase him around or having to be the ones to drag him around. So what it does is it gives him a sense of I can do it. And so even the YouTube videos, he would sit down, he would do it and all of that, and then we would put it out there. When we put it out there, he feels like a champion. He feels like someone who has achieved something. He feels like someone who has done something. And so when there are other things that come up or other things that he is asked to do, he is not afraid because he already has the I can do mentality. And so when presentations came up in school, when like class programs that came up, things that ordinarily he wouldn't do in the past, okay, he was able to jump in and do them because he already feels like someone who can do it. And why did that happen? It happened because we started getting him to set his own goals and we started getting him to do his own thing on his own. So that's what happens, okay? The next thing is it helped him to discover his ability and helped us to discover his capacity. All right. So back then, when he started the YouTube channel, I would go ahead and I would create some sort of a script for him. All right. So this is what we're learning this week. And most times we tied it to what he was doing in school. Right. So we tied it to that, and then I would create a script for him, right, that he would use for the YouTube channel. But what happened every time, remember he was about 7 at this time, 7, 8, right? So what happened at this point was he would take the script, but I realized when he's delivering the videos, he would not deliver the videos with my script. He doesn't give the, his content is not verbatim like what is on my script. That's not what his content was. Okay, so his content was never, that's what I realized, his content was never what exactly I have written on that script for him to do. So what we realized was he had the capacity to actually put out his own content from his own understanding. So by the time we had done this for 6, 7 months, I stopped writing scripts for him. Now, ordinarily, I wouldn't know that he had this capacity, right? I wouldn't know that he had the capacity to take science and understand it, present it in his own language. You should go and check. I mean, we don't do science videos. We've done in recent times, we don't do science videos because he decided to take a break from science videos and all of that. But you should check the channel. Now, when you check the channel, you will see that he's 13 right now. But when you go to the channel, you will see him at 8 and 9 and, and all of that, right? But when you go there, there's one thing that will be very clear to you when you go to that channel. You will see that it is, what this child was delivering was knowledge that was coming straight from the child. You will know that it's knowledge that is authentic, knowledge that the child has the hang of. You would know that it's not scripted. You will know that it is not one of those things that they do during class presentations in school where you come and you just vomit, what has been written on the script and all of that, right? But without allowing him set these goals and begin to do all of this, we wouldn't have known that he had the capacity to take a subject or a topic and digest it, research on his own and then give it his own language, right? Of course, with him, he also gained the I can do, and he was able to understand the power that he has or understand the extent to which he could stretch himself. So what happened? By the time he was 9, I started allowing him do his research on his own. So yes, our son started putting his materials together, do his research for whatever topic he had to teach, right? He started doing all of that by age 8. So yes, by the time he was 8, 9, school projects and all of that, we had no hand in it because he could take it, do the research. He knew what to search. He knew all the search engines. He knew how to filter information from different sources and then put it together, of course, and then master what it is. what it is that he had to deliver. All right. So just because we got him into that place where he started seeing himself as someone that can set goals and someone that can work towards achieving those goals. If we didn't do that, okay, if we didn't do that, then he wouldn't know this. Okay. It started to form lifelong habits like research skills. Okay, I was saying that. So that's the first thing that I noticed. I noticed that he started to form lifelong habits, right? So, for instance, research skills, right? Because he had to, because part of his goal would be to create 4 content, okay, to create 4 content in a month, right? So I had to rely on him to come back from school and say, Mom, this and this and this and this is what we're studying in school, in life science, in physical science, and all of that. It was his responsibility. I didn't have to chase him. So he came back and he made up his mind, okay, we are studying 4 different topics in different side angle part of science, right? Life science, physical science, and all of that. And then he can say to me, I want to do just physical science, geography, and all of that. That's all I want to put in my content this month. Okay, and that's because he started setting these goals. It became his responsibility, isn't it? It became his responsibilities, and then of course, his responsibility, and he could decide, right? And then he would go ahead and research, to build the content. So yes, he wasn't just delivering based on the content that his teacher was giving him in school. He wasn't just delivering based on the content that he knew from buying knowledge. He wasn't just delivering from the content of the additions that I had while we were preparing the models, or while we were talking about, the topic. It also came from his research, okay, his research on his own. So that's it. He started developing life skills like research. All right, you develop skills like research. He also developed resilience, of course. All right, so he developed other skills like resilience, okay, and then of course he developed skills like leisure reading, right? Because of course he had to get ready for his book review with his mentor at the time. So what happened? He would take his time. He created all those goals. So he had his schedule when he had to read every day, because yes, he would have to sit down and review with his mentor on a particular day. I can't remember what day they used to have, but because he had to sit down on that particular day, what happened is for every day he had the 30 minutes that he stayed to read his book, 30 minutes and all of that. And that's only because it was a goal for him. Okay. And that's because he had a big picture. So he could break that big picture into smaller goals. And so he had those smaller goals, 30 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of reading every day. So by the time it's time for him to meet his mentor, he had already read all that he needed to read, and he always gave an amazing review. Not because he's extra smart, or not because he's different from any other child, but because he was given the tools that he needed, right, for him to, set himself apart. And that's what I am talking about. He also learned the ability to say no. He learned the ability to say no. He learned the ability to look at me even at age 7 and 8 and say to me, not just the usual no of no, I don't want to do, but no from a place of, I know what I want to do right now. So I'm like, can we go with this topic? And it's like, oh no, Mom, I don't want to teach that topic this week. Can I go with so and so topic? I feel so at that point he was delivering his videos based on what he felt comfortable with and what he wanted to deliver per time. Why is this? Because he could set his own goals. He could create plans to achieve those goals. And based on those plans, he could say to me or to his camera person or whoever, I don't want to do this today. He could make choices of what he wanted to wear for those videos. And that's how it begins. If your children do not learn to start saying no to you as a parent from home, okay, if they don't say no to you from home, or they don't feel comfortable saying no to you with reasons, then it will be difficult for them to say no to people outside your home. Of course, he builds confidence also. He builds confidence. He could talk to the people that he works with, his cameraman, the editor, girl, me. He could talk to, you know, it gave him an opportunity to start talking with adults, right? And then giving, sharing his perspective. So he would share his perspective. Okay, he would say no where he doesn't agree, and all of that, all of these, just because he had goals, he had plans for those goals, and then he was part of it, right? And he was doing these things. He was doing. It wasn't us doing everything and just putting him in front of a camera. He was setting these goals. He had plans to achieve them, and he was working towards these goals. All right. So this confidence, and then he became conscious, right? He learned to be conscious and assertive. So of course, you have people that you're working with. You had to talk to them in a kind of way, right? And then of course you have to relay your perspective in a respectful manner. So he was, he learned to be assertive. So these are all the life skills, okay, other life skills that came just from learning to set goals, achieve goals, and of course set yourself in that space where even as a child, you know what it is that you want, and you know what it is that you're doing, just because you are involved in planning your life. All right. Now, if you didn't know why your children should set goals, I have just managed to give you a lecture, a lesson on why your children should set goals, isn't it? All right. So briefly, let me just talk about, you know, how you can get them to set goals briefly before we jump into the tips that I want to give you today. All right. So how do you get them to set goals? Number one, you want to help them to find their big goal. Okay. So what is that big thing that your child, that big reason why your child needs to set goals? You need to make them know the big reason why they need to set goals. What's the big thing? Okay. So for my son at the time, he needed to impact the world. Okay. He needed to impact the world. We had told him so much about the fact that your purpose is a big deal, okay? And part of your purpose is that you're able to impact lives, touch lives, change lives, you know, okay? And then give value to the world. So for him, this was his big picture, okay? So purpose is a big picture, really. Purpose is a big picture for anybody. And that's why we are constantly talking about purpose, constantly talking about impact, constantly talking about, you know, children being able to create, children being able to solve problems and create solutions, children giving out value. Okay, that's what we're born for, to be valuable to our society. And it's not until we are 18 or they are 18 and 20 that's when we begin to get them to practice being valuable and giving out value. That's not the time we begin to teach them about impact. We need to teach them today. Okay, so whatever you have to do with your child, whatever you want to see in your child in 20, in 10, in 15, in 30 years time, it needs to begin right now. You need to start sowing those seeds right now. The child needs to start practicing, and the child needs to start practicing and doing in order for you to get mastery. It was Apostle Simon that said, there is nothing in this world that you do, nothing in this world that you do. If mastery is your goal, then there's nothing you can do in this world that you would not put practice into. Of course, prayer and practice. Okay, you must be on a journey for you to get mastery. Mastery is not going to fall upon you. Mastery comes with practice over time. All right, so let them see the big picture, okay, and then let them see the reason behind that purpose. Okay, so before you start when you want to start getting your children to set goals, then get your children see the big picture. Why do I need to set goals? What is it that I want to achieve with these goals? Where am I going to? What is the motivation behind this? So let them see the big picture, and then give them the reason behind the big picture, and then let them see, help them figure out the process. Okay, help them figure out the process. Children need to understand that life is about processes. It's because we don't deliver this message to our children, or we don't know how to, rather, we don't know how to pass this message or deliver this message to our children. That's why our children are there having all kinds of mentors, having all kinds of funny people that they look up to. So your children just watch a simple video of some celebrity, okay, that is living the life, and your children just want to be like these people. All they see is how they can be this person. Now, this is because your children do not understand process. The last thing at the back of their mind is struggling the way some of these people struggle. The last thing at the back of their mind is putting the job or the work that some of these people's parents have put. The last thing on their mind is going through the processes that some of these people have gone through. All they can see is the picture of these people. They can see the big picture. I want to be a Burna. I want to be a Burna boy. I want to win Grammys. I want to do all of that. Now the picture or the process that led to Burna being Burna, the child is not interested in, because we do not teach them about process. Okay, so you need to help your children see the process to achieving a goal. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4, you need to help them realize that, you need to help them know, okay, or understand that in the process, there are going to be challenges, there are going to be obstacles, there are going to be, things that will sway them, here and there. You have to make them see this. Okay, you have to go through some of these obstacles or challenges that your child will encounter. All right, I'm saying this because this is what we do in the mastermind. This is what we do. We work with children in the mastermind, and right now the children in the mastermind are setting goals. When they set their goals, they are going to send the goals to me. Okay, I am the matron of the mastermind, so they will set the goals to me, and I'm going to pass them through all of this that I'm talking about to you right now. I'm going to pass them through all these phases. And sometimes we have parents who come to us and they start working with us with their children. Then somewhere along the line, the children begin to drag their feet, because of course children would rather entertain themselves than do productive things. It is the nature of a child, especially for a child that has not been trained in this way. Your child has never had mentors. Your child has never done anything besides go to school, come back, do homework, go to church, and then play around. Basically, your child has never done any of these things. Your child has never done anything around personal development. Your child doesn't know anything like these things. Okay, then all of a sudden this child is about 12, 13, and then you get them into a program. Of course, after a few weeks, the child will not want to be a part of it. Your child doesn't know this. This is not what the child knows. The child knows playing games. The child knows chatting around, jumping around. The child does not have all of that. The boundaries are not that, the structure is not that, there's no structure, basically. Okay, in many cases in our homes, there is no structure. So your children are not used to structure. Your children are just used to basic, wake up in the morning, people help you out, they wake you up, they get you to the bathroom, they run the tap for you, or whatever it is. Okay, you get dressed, someone is there to take you to school. They say, so the children go through life without making extra efforts, quotes and unquotes. Okay, because somehow there are always people to make it happen. Whether you do it screaming, you do it beating them, screaming, scolding, or you do it calmly, however it is, but at the back of their achievement is always a driver. Someone is always driving their achievement. You, your spouse, their teacher, someone is always driving their achievement, and it's not from within. It's not intrinsic. Okay, it's not intrinsic. It's never moved from you to them, basically. And some of our children go through this all the way till when they go to university. Everything has been externally motivated. Yes, and I do not mince words when I say this. Even when they go to boarding school, it is externally motivated, because hey, you have all the rules, you have all the bells, you have all the punishments, you have all of these things in place to ensure that they do what they have to do. All right, your child is there. He goes to prep and he studies. If there was no prep and no bell had to force him to be in prep, if he had the option to or not to, would he be there? That's what we're talking about. Okay, because sometimes people, when you say these things, people be like, oh, thank God it's not my child. My child is in boarding school. He does like, no. It's all the things, the external things that compel them to do all of these things, whether they're at home, in boarding school, or whatever. All right, so what I'm saying is, at some point, what we're doing is we're trying to train, or we're training our children to get to the point where they begin to understand the reason behind these things, and they do these things from within because they want to do it. And don't tell me it's not possible, parents, because it is possible. We have 10, 12, 13, 15-year-olds who are beginning to understand the reason behind their actions. They can see the big picture and they are making baby steps towards that big picture. Yes, they may not be fully, it may not be as, it may not be as fixed as an adult is, basically, but we have children who are already putting in 50% of the effort, 60, and they're growing in the percentage. If you were to weigh it that way, on a scale of 0 to 10, you have children who are already putting in 8, on that scale of the efforts towards their own life. And that's what we do in the mastermind. We're trying to get these children to move from a motivation to determination. So we're moving them on that scale, on that spectrum, from the point where they are being motivated by other people to the point where they begin to lead themselves and begin to motivate themselves. So very, very key. All right, so you give them that big picture, help them figure out the process. So the process is this will happen. So when you get to the point where your child is saying, I don't want to do, I'm tired and all of that, it could just be the fact that you have not helped the child understand the process. So somewhere along the process, when the obstacles come, when those challenges come that make it difficult for the child to move on, when they come, the child would back out. And because as parents, we don't have full knowledge of what we can do to support our children, sometimes we just throw in the towel, we just swing our hands in the air like I have tried, let them go. All right, so your children need to know this. And while you're teaching them about the process, you have to teach them about the how, the who, the how, the who, and the when. Okay, you need to teach them, how do you go about achieving these goals? Okay, who do you need to support you? Who do you need? Who do you go to? How do you go to people when you need help? So our children should be at a point where when they need help in achieving the things that they want to achieve, okay, and they know they can't do it on their own, they should be able to turn and say, oh, I'm struggling with this. Could you help me out? Or could you suggest something? Okay, it is a skill to know when to bring in people to support you with your goals. Okay, very important. And then they need to know the when. When do I do what I'm supposed to do? When is the right time, right, to read for 15 minutes every day? It's not when his teacher is teaching in the classroom, then he brings us his book and he's trying to read in the middle of a class because we say you should develop leisure reading. So right there, you're going to obstruct another learning just because you want to read that novel. No, no, no. So they need to know the how, the when, okay? And they know the who that can support them. All right, so this is how you get children to set goals. I have just given you this expensive tip on how to get children to understand and to start setting goals. So let's go into the tools that we need to help our children achieve these goals. Okay, I'm going to just go through them very fast. Number one is understand the place of prayers. Okay, I don't know who you worship. I don't know, I am a Christian, so I'm going to come from the Christian perspective. Okay, so right now, all right, so you can use this and apply it in your own religion also. Now let your children understand the place of prayer in their goals. Okay, let them understand that there is a way to pray for the things that they want to see in their lives. Okay, so teach your children to come to God. Teach your children to go to God and place a demand, even as God has taught us to do, isn't it? So when they pray, let them pray with God's word. Father, you said Father, you said everything that I place my hands on shall prosper. And so, Lord, I place a demand because I have worked hard and this is my goal for this year. And so, Father, I bring this goal before you because your word says that everything that I place my hands on shall prosper. Lord, I call to you and I say, Lord, help me prosper in this. Let your children, so it means that you're teaching your children the word of God and you're helping your children know what God's word says about what it is that they want to see in their lives so that they can place the demand or so that they can pray based on the word of God. So let them understand the place of prayers with their goals. So what am I saying in retrospect? I'm saying that it is one thing to create goals. It is another thing to plan for those goals. And then it is important that you work on your goals with God because we are people of faith. All right? So apply that to whatever you believe in, basically. Number two, teach your children to write down their goals and create a plan. That's what I've been trying to say. It's not enough to say, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. It's not enough to say, I want to impact the world when I grow up. Oh, I want to build the second hotel in Mars after Elon Musk. It's not enough to say, I want to create something. It's not enough to say all of those things. These are your big picture. It's not enough to say, I want to be a person of value. I want to impact the world. It's not enough to say, I want to create another thing that is more than what the Wright brothers did when they created the plane. It's not enough. What is the plan to achieve this? Okay, so as I said when I was talking about goals and them setting goals, I said let them have the big picture and then let them create plans towards achieving that big picture. So it starts by writing it down. Okay, so the kids in the mastermind, I was sending them their daily message this morning, and I said to them, get your Skill Up journal. So the Skill Up journal is one of the products that we created this year. So this is a Skill Up journal, right? So I said to them, go to 1st and 2nd of January on your Skill Up journal, and I want you to write down your goals right there. Write your goals right there in the first page of and then, of course, because we work in 8 areas, okay, 8 areas that if children are able to set goals along these 8 areas, then they would have they would have created goals that would touch on every aspect of their lives. So I said to them, go in there and create 2 goals for every one of these parameters. Now write it down on day 1 and day 2 of your Skill Up journal. And it's the same thing for every month. What is the month? After breaking the goals, we break the goals down, and then for every month, we go there the first day, we write down our goals for the month on the first page so that we can keep it in view. Very, very important. See, now I am sharing some of the things that we do in the mastermind. Now you can get your children to join us in the mastermind. Now, when your children join us in the mastermind, what it does is it makes your job easier and it makes you very focused. It makes you focused, it makes your job easier, and it creates a plan for you automatically that ensures that no part of your child's development is left behind. Very, very key. If you are not ready to join the mastermind right now, you are still gathering all that you need to join. You can take advantage of the program or course that we have this month, okay, next month basically, but we're registering already, where we will create a plan for you. We call it the personalized education plan. We'll create a plan for you that covers the areas where you want to focus on this year. We will create a curriculum for you, the curriculum that you will use on your own every day and know what to do with your children every day. So let's say you want to help them build public speaking skills. All right, what do you do on week 1, week 2, week 3? What do you do for you to be able to, on your own as a home curriculum, okay, for you to be able to support your child that way, or for you to know what's a demand of the people that you bring in to support your child. Sometimes we bring in all kinds of people to support our children, but because we do not have the big goal ourselves, we don't know where we're going to. We don't have any plan. So we just leave them in the hands of these people and we walk away. Meanwhile, these are people that probably do not share your set of values. These are people that probably do not share your ideology. You know what we do around here? We bring in teachers, we bring in all kinds of people to work with our children, but we don't bother to find out what these people or who these people are, what their ideologies are, what their mindset is, we don't find out nothing. We just conclude at first they say you're a teacher or you are this person or that person is okay, come and work with my children. So at the end of the day, you are not in sync, okay? You are saying one thing, your child is learning another thing from another person, even from the person's mannerism, basically, etiquette, all of these things will add up. So at the end, you have a child that behaves or talks in a certain way simply because of the people you introduced in their lives, in the name of, I am busy, I need someone else to work with my child. All right, so we need to be careful about all of these things, very, very key. So we can help you create the PEP, okay? So you just enroll for that program. We will help you create create your PEP, we'll hand you your PEP based on your own expectations. So you tell us what you expect and we'll create a PEP for you and send it to you, and you go to work on your own. But apart from that, you can bring them to the mastermind, and it means we will be working together. So you have access to us. Your children work with us every day from the beginning to the end of the program, which is a whole year program. Very, very key. All right. So whichever one, just put in the comments or send us a DM if you would like to be a part of any of these, the mastermind, or you just want a PEP. Very key. All right. But today we're here giving you tips. Take the tips and, do as much as you can do with the tips. Everything is important. You see how it is. We give you value. We give you value for wherever you are. We give you value for wherever you are. You're the person that does not understand the value. You don't place value on paying for knowledge yet. Okay? You just want tips. Take it and put it, as in write it on in the tablet of your heart, and hold it to your chest and go. Are you the one that is in that space that you know that you cannot raise a child without a curriculum? Forget what anybody is telling you. You cannot raise a child without a big picture. Effectively, anybody can raise a child. Even a mad woman on the streets can raise a child. I hope you know that. We can all raise children. Mad woman, all does she need? She just needs to breastfeed the child. At some point, begin to look for things all around. As far as food enters the stomach, the child will be okay. There is a way that the child has eaten so much dirt that the child's immunity is strong. Kakaraka. So the kind of things that will throw your child off balance and make you be in the toilet for one whole week, throwing up or, purging the child, it doesn't affect the child at all. All right. So those kind of people can wake up and say, oh, now God, they protect the king. Then lie, they no lie. So do what they do now. Can you? No. Here you are with your children in the best schools and all of that. Okay. So basically anybody can raise a child. Okay, so it's effectively, that is the word there. How effectively are you raising this child? All right. So for those who know that you need a curriculum, we are here for you. We have answers and solutions for you also. For those who understand the place of mentorship, accountability, okay, and working with other children, over 40 children, okay, about 40 children and 50 children in the next few weeks. All of you, 50 children from 6 different countries and over 20 cities, working together, inspiring each other, growing together, and all of that together under the watch of your matron. Then you understand the deal that we offer in the mastermind program. All right. So the next one, where did I stop? Create. So teach them to write it down, I said, and create a plan. Number 3 is let them create a vision board. Please, parents, it's okay. Vision board, it can be anything. Oh, my children created their vision board yesterday. Should I take a minute and show you? Oh, it's very far. I can see Kamsi's vision board. It's right somewhere there. All right, so my kids, we created their vision board for the year yesterday and all that. All right, so let your children create a vision board. What is it? It's just a picture representation. It's a picture representation of those goals. Okay, so they've talked about the goals. They've written it down. Now they've created a virtual, right? They've created a virtual representation of it, right? So your children are putting all their senses into these goals. Okay, don't worry. They can never have the result of someone who has done none of these things at all. All right, so they create a vision board, and so as a tool, so vision board is a tool to help them achieve their goals. And then we also add visualization to it. What is visualization? Being able to close your eyes and see your big picture, the process that it takes to achieving it, and how you will feel. So we are able to teach the children how to do this, how to visualize their big picture and continue to do it. You know the law of attraction. You know how God works. Speak it. Even the Bible says you should say the things that are not as though they were. Speak. What is it you want to see? Okay, some of us go about, we go about with these principles. We apply them because pastor says we should apply them. That's the reason I ask you when you are ill, how are you doing? And you say, oh, I'm strong. I'm strong. You're very ill. You say you're strong. Now we're saying the same thing to you. Let your children create vision board, and let your children look at their big picture and say, I am this. It is the same principle. But no, when it comes to your church matter, you embrace it because it's pastor that said it. Now, when it comes to us saying, let the children start doing this from an early age, you say, I better leave all those coaches. Everything is book. But pastor has said you are doing. All right? So basically, it's the same principle, my dear parents. It's the same principle where your children can look at the big picture, look at what they say, what God says about them, and they can speak it with their mouth. Okay? It is the picture of, let them visualize, see that picture, let them say it, let them affirm themselves. Good. So that's another thing. Vision board visualization. Okay? The next one, number 4, is break the goals down into achievable daily practice. This is what we help you do excellently well in the mastermind. When the children are done with their goals, we break them down and our children begin to do something about their goals every day. They do something about the goals every day. Every day, affirmation about those goals. They work on something, that will help them achieve those goals every day. Don't worry, we know how to break it down. So we break it and they do something towards the goals every day. That it will amaze you and amaze them how they achieve those goals in a short time. We don't have time. Let me go. Okay? You can't get mastery without practice. I said that. For kids, daily practice trumps any other kind of practice, okay? Because it is repetition. Repetition works for children. See, let me tell you, let no one kid you. Anything that your child is doing that does not include your child practicing that thing on a daily basis, the results can never be the same. Okay, so for everything your children do, let it be that they practice daily. That's when the results would come out powerfully. Okay, it's how the brain works. Its principle is how the brain works and all of that. It's how neural pathways are created and how they are sharpened, and that's how mastery happens. So that's why we use this as a tool in the mastermind. We have the children practice the things that will help them achieve their goals every day. Okay, and we have a system, to make sure that this is happening. We're coming to that. Okay, so the next one is big goals, small goals. Okay, I said that. Okay, so let them practice, let them break it down into big goals, small goals, identify obstacles, talk about it, and all that. Number 5 is teach your children to self-talk. Teach your children to self-talk. Help your children use affirmation. So in the mastermind, we have the children do affirmations every morning. Okay, at 6:30, they get a set of affirmation that they have to affirm themselves with every day. Speak. Let the universe hear. Let the heaven hear. Agree with your mother. Agree with your father. Didn't scripture says, whatever 2 or 3 agree on earth shall be agreed in the heavens. So use those affirmations with your children, agree together. Okay, we are in agreement with them in the mastermind already. So we're already 2 plus you plus their siblings. So agree on all of this, and scripture says that whatever we agree on earth shall be agreed on in heavens, isn't it? So do that. Now teach your children during the obstacle to use these words that they have learned over the years through affirmation. Okay, so give me a second, please. My button. All right, so teach your children to use these words that they have learned through affirmation. So when the obstacles come, they know that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Right now, the child is tired and all that, but he knows I can do all things. Come on, I don't know whether you don't do that. I do that to myself a lot. I hear my son do it to himself. He says to himself, Kamsi, get up, you can do this. Kamsi, get up, you can do this. Get up, I'm going to count for you. 5, 4, 3, and by 2 he jumps up. 1, there you are. So teach your children. All right, teach your children to self-affirm. Okay, let them affirm themselves. Let them talk themselves into believing themselves. Teach them that this is what will come in handy when those obstacles come, and when the spirit is willing and the body is not. It will come in very handy. Number 6, journaling. Help your children learn to journal. Journaling is a system that allows your children learn how to introspect. Okay, being able to sit down. We take these things for granted because we don't understand the principles behind them. Life is about principles and promises, okay, and what we agree on. What are you agreeing on? What are the principles? What did God say about this thing? This is what life is about, okay? We take it for granted, okay? Now, the principle behind journaling is your child is able to stop, okay, and introspect. What did I do today? What did I achieve today? Okay, and then he's able to say, okay, I set 2 goals in the morning. I was able to achieve them. There are a lot of adults that do not know how to stop and ask themselves the questions, what have I achieved in my life? Wherever they can't do that, they can't ask themselves those questions. They can't introspect. They cannot self-examine. So that's why you see someone, you're wondering, doesn't he think about his life, where he's coming from, there are people who do not. They don't even know how to silence the noise around them enough to be in a place of calm, right? I wrote something about that this morning in the group. You should check it out. They don't know how to silence themselves and be in a place of calm where they can self-evaluate. So this is what journaling, when you get a skill of journal and your child begins to journal, what you're doing is you are helping them build these skills gradually. Okay, and this one is tailored to the child. And it allows the child also pen down their gratitude. What are you grateful for today? That will help them build empathy. Okay, they introspect, they understand the people, the who's in the day, the who, the people who helped me to achieve this, okay, and all of that. Very, very key. Number 7, accountability. Get an accountability community for your child. What an accountability community does for your child is it teaches your child what kind of expectation to have of people in a broader world. So your child is in the mastermind. The mastermind is a peer accountability group where we have young children. In fact, the lead partner in the mastermind is 13, is Kamsi. We have other children. The children are the ones who lead the things in the mastermind. They are constantly having conversations and all of that. So now your child is listening to children who have conversations with reasonable content, productive conversations and all of that. Now your child knows that it is possible to have young people who think with deep insights, who think with a sense of direction, young people who are engaged in productive things. Now, when your child goes out there and he meets his friends, classmates, people who are constantly, the only thing they talk about is rubbish, your child is able to tell that I shouldn't be in this circle. I shouldn't be talking. Your child is able to tell that, okay, there is much more to life than the games, the ball. There's much more, right, to young people like myself than just all the superficial, and all of these things so your child learns how to make the right kind of friends, learns how to engage in conversations, learns how to engage in productive things, allows other people inspire them, begin to place himself in a place where he can inspire other people and all of that. That is the importance of communities like this. Look at me, I'm a parent coach. I can sit down here and say, I really don't need my children to be anywhere. I have it, I can do it. But no, apart from the mentor parent, which is our community, I have my children belong to other communities that are being run by coaches and experts, basically. I have my son in Coach Ebuka's program. I have him in Coach Chido's program. I mean, this is my son that is already focused to an extent for a child his age. But no, because I understand the importance of communities. And this is what we say, let your children be in communities and let them be in communities even more, okay? They will gain so much when they're in a community where they can look up to people or look up to a person that is about their age. There is something that it does for the child from inside. It puts them in a place of, there is nothing I cannot do, basically. And then the last one, my extra lights just went off. And then the last one is mentorship. I don't know what to say to you about mentorship. Mentorship, I told you my son had his first mentor when he was 7. All right, mentorship gives your child someone to look up to besides you. There is a way as parents, we are the only ones who influence our children, who tell them this. You realize at some point you are not in the scheme, you're not around, you are not in that place, and your child finds it difficult to listen to another person. Okay, even when they listen to other people, they don't take it seriously or they don't apply it seriously in their lives. Why is that? Because because you are the alpha and omega when it comes to extra talk in their ear, or when it comes to anything apart from them. All right, so there is the risk of your children not being able to take, you know, anything from any other person apart from you, because other adults have not been, introduced into their lives that they could trust. Okay, some people will say, oh, that's fine, I can get my brother, I'll get my sister, or get my someone. But another thing is, you want to introduce into their lives adults that share your kind of values and share your journey, your process. They share where your destination is. So you want to bring people that are in sync with what you want for your child. So that way, you know, basically, mentors become really very important. Apart from that, you want a trusted adult in the life of your child that your child listens to. Apart from you, at some point, your child, not even apart from you, at some point, your influence on your child is going to reduce as your child grows older. Their friends will become more influential. Okay, will influence them more than you do. Don't worry, it's principles. It just happens. It will happen. It will happen to you. It's probably happening to you right now. Okay, so what you want at that point, because somehow your child sees you, because of all the wanting the right thing for the child over the years and all of that, it seems like, oh, okay, you are judging them in a way. So somehow they don't want to tell you certain things because they feel they would disappoint you and all that. Now they would feel at that point you need some other person that they can turn to, okay, if they are not turning to you. You don't want them to turn to their mate or turn to some stranger outside there. It means that you do not have any grasp or any grip on what is going on in their lives. So this is why you should introduce mentors into their life early, so that the children begin to trust these people. And when they are not speaking with you, you are sure of who else they are speaking to. All right, so we have the purpose. Okay, so that's the size. I have to stop here. We have overflogged the time. I'm supposed to be on Instagram right now. See, we're late. I am so sorry that we had to take this long, but there was just so much to share today. I hope you got value. Let us know in the comments. If you're catching the replay, if you got value from this session, if you have questions, please go ahead and ask. If you'd like to be a part of the mastermind for your child between 6 and 14, please reach out to us by DM or in the comments of this post. Okay, if you would like to be a part of the PEP, look out for it. We're going to launch it very soon, today or tomorrow. Okay, if you have joined the group to get our purpose card, we're sorry it's coming a bit late due to logistics, but we would have them really very soon. It's free. It's going to help you to start having conversations with your children about purpose. So you understand what we're talking about when we talk about a curriculum that you can use to step down a lesson. So the purpose card is free. Look out for it. Just click in, fill the form and get the card and download the card for free. Thank you very much. Okay, you like your child to be a part of the mastermind. Thank you. We'll reach out to you, okay, after before the end of the day. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for being here. We do not take it for granted that you allow us be a part of your journey. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.